Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk to you about a message that's tough but powerful. Nobody is coming to save you. This may sound harsh, but it's one of the most liberating truths you'll ever embrace. In life, you will face setbacks, challenges, and struggles that feel insurmountable. You might feel like you're waiting for someone to show up, to step in and solve your problems, or to guide you out of the dark. But there's something you need to realize. If you want change, you have to be the one to create it. We live in a world that often teaches us to look outward for solutions. From a young age, we're taught that help will come, that someone else will take responsibility, and that somehow things will work out on their own. But as we grow, we start to see the truth. Life doesn't come with guaranteed safety nets. There won't always be someone there to rescue us. And this is where the true power of this message comes in. When you understand that nobody is coming to save you, you also realize that you have the power to save yourself. Let's be clear, we all need support, and we should all be willing to lean on each other. But when it comes to creating lasting change in our lives, only one person has the power to make it happen. That person is you. It's you who must wake up each day and choose to face the challenges, to push through the obstacles, and to do the work. No one else can do it for you. Friends, family, and mentors can provide encouragement, but they can't take the journey for you. That journey is yours alone. Understanding this truth is the first step toward taking ownership of your life. When you stop waiting for someone else to fix things, you start to see possibilities you might have missed before. You realize that your own decisions, actions, and persistence shape your reality. You become empowered to make the changes you want to see. This is the beginning of resilience, courage, and true self-determination. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it requires sacrifice. But consider this: every story of success, every journey of triumph begins with someone who refused to wait for someone else to act. They took their destiny into their own hands. They did the hard work, even when it was lonely, even when it was difficult. They became their own hero. And you have that same strength within you. Self-reliance is not just about being able to handle responsibilities on our own. It's about building a foundation of confidence, resilience, and trust in our own abilities. When we are self-reliant, we give ourselves the power to navigate life's challenges, make informed choices, and create a life rooted in authenticity and purpose. At its core, self-reliance is essential because it allows us to fully embrace our own agency. In a world where we're often told to rely on external validation, support, or guidance, self-reliance is a reminder that our own inner resources, our ideas, instincts, and strengths are enough to guide us. It's about recognizing that we are capable of handling the complexities of life without needing constant approval or assistance from others. This doesn't mean we don't value relationships or ignore the wisdom that comes from mentors or friends, but rather that we learn to trust ourselves as the final authority on what is right for us. Self-reliance also brings a sense of stability and resilience. Life is unpredictable, and there will inevitably be times when we face adversity, loss, or disappointment. In these moments, self-reliance helps us avoid the panic that can come from waiting for someone else to fix things for us. Instead, we can look within, assess our situation, and take the steps necessary to find a solution. Self-reliance builds resilience because it teaches us how to recover from setbacks on our own, strengthening our ability to bounce back and continue moving forward, even in the face of difficulty. Another benefit of self-reliance is that it cultivates self-confidence. When we trust ourselves to make decisions and solve problems independently, we build a deep sense of competence and assurance. This confidence doesn't come from external achievements or validation, but from knowing that we are capable of handling whatever comes our way. Each time we navigate a challenge on our own, we reinforce our belief in ourselves. which boosts our confidence and allows us to tackle bigger and more complex challenges. This self-confidence becomes an invaluable asset, allowing us to pursue our goals and dreams without being held back by doubt or fear of failure. Self-reliance is also essential for personal growth and authenticity. When we are self-reliant, we're more inclined to make choices that align with our values and aspirations, rather than being swayed by external pressures or expectations. We begin to understand what truly matters to us, and we make decisions that reflect our authentic selves. This leads to a life that feels meaningful and fulfilling because it's one we've created from our own values, not one shaped by what others expect from us. Self-reliance allows us to take risks, explore new paths, and follow our passions without constantly worrying about how others might perceive us. Furthermore, self-reliance fosters a strong sense of independence. When we are self-reliant, we're not overly dependent on others for our happiness, stability, or direction. This independence allows us to form healthier relationships where we can appreciate others for who they are without relying on them to fulfill our needs. We can offer support and kindness to others without expecting them to complete us, creating relationships based on mutual respect and interdependence rather than codependency. Self-reliant individuals can enjoy companionship, love, and friendship without feeling that their own identity or worth is tied to someone else's presence or approval. Lastly, self-reliance is essential because it allows us to take full responsibility for our lives. It's easy to blame circumstances or others when things go wrong, but self-reliance teaches us that we are ultimately accountable for our actions and decisions. This accountability can be empowering because it reminds us that we have control over our responses and choices, even when we can't control the events themselves. By taking responsibility, we learn from our experiences, make adjustments, and continue to grow. Self-reliance gives us the tools to create the life we want because we're no longer waiting for others to provide solutions. We're actively shaping our own path. Personal responsibility for change is the understanding that we alone are accountable for creating the improvements, progress, and shifts we want to see. While we can receive guidance, advice, and support, the ultimate work of change belongs to us. Embracing this responsibility allows us to move away from passivity and step confidently toward a life that we shape according to our own goals, values, and aspirations. The first step in taking personal responsibility for change is realizing that we have the power to make meaningful adjustments in our lives. Too often we get stuck in a pattern of thinking that our circumstances are determined by external factors, other people, situations, or luck. But when we accept that we are the driving force behind change, we reclaim control over our path. This shift in mindset empowers us to take an active role, understanding that if we want to see change, we have to be the one to make it happen. We stop waiting for others to alter their behavior for situations to improve on their own, or for the perfect moment to arrive. Instead, we begin to ask ourselves, what can I do today to make things different? Another aspect of personal responsibility for change is accepting that every choice we make contributes to the direction of our lives. Big or small, every decision has an impact. And by being intentional in our choices, we begin to shape the outcomes we desire. This doesn't mean we won't make mistakes or face setbacks. In fact, taking personal responsibility also means accepting that mistakes are part of the journey. When things go wrong, instead of blaming others or dwelling on circumstances beyond our control, we look inward and ask, what could I have done differently? This approach fosters accountability and teaches us valuable lessons that prepare us for future success. By owning both our triumphs and our setbacks, we develop resilience and the courage to keep moving forward. Personal responsibility for change also requires us to be honest with ourselves about where we are and where we want to go. Often we find ourselves holding back from change because it's uncomfortable to face our shortcomings or limitations. Taking responsibility means looking at these areas with humility and a willingness to grow. It involves recognizing habits, thought patterns, and behaviors that no longer serve us and making a conscious effort to change them. This self-reflection can be difficult, but it's a crucial part of growth. When we take responsibility for our limitations, we stop giving our power away and start reclaiming it in ways that build us up. Moreover, personal responsibility for change is crucial for achieving our goals. Dreams and aspirations are wonderful motivators, but without action, they remain just that, dreams. By taking responsibility, we turn our dreams into concrete plans. This means setting achievable goals, making sacrifices, and being disciplined. It means pushing ourselves to keep going even when progress seems slow or challenges arise. Personal responsibility drives us to be proactive and consistent, knowing that every step we take, no matter how small, is bringing us closer to our vision. Without this sense of responsibility, it's easy to become distracted or discouraged, but with it, we stay focused and committed, recognizing that we hold the keys to our own success. Personal responsibility also enables us to make peace with the idea of uncertainty and risk. Change often requires us to step into the unknown, to take risks, and to challenge ourselves in ways that might feel uncomfortable or even frightening. When we accept personal responsibility, we recognize that growth happens outside of our comfort zone. Instead of fearing the unknown, we begin to see it as an opportunity to expand our abilities, knowledge, and resilience. We start to understand that while we can't control every outcome, we can control our response to it. This empowerment helps us embrace change with confidence and adaptability rather than being held back by fear or insecurity. Finally, personal responsibility for change allows us to build a life of integrity and authenticity. By taking ownership of our actions and decisions, we live in alignment with our values and goals. We no longer feel the need to make excuses or to seek validation from others. We become the architects of our own lives, designing a reality that reflects who we truly are and who we wish to become. Personal responsibility fosters a deep sense of pride and satisfaction, knowing that we are actively contributing to our own well-being and happiness. We are no longer passive participants in life. We are creators, shaping each moment with intention and purpose. In essence, personal responsibility for change is about owning our potential and being willing to put in the work to unlock it. It's about understanding that while external factors will always exist, the true power for transformation lies within us. Embracing this responsibility enables us to step into a life of purpose, resilience, and fulfillment, because we know that we are the ones making it happen every step of the way. Empowerment is the feeling of being in control of our destiny, of knowing that we have the ability to influence our circumstances and pursue our dreams. But true empowerment isn't something we can passively wait for. It comes from taking deliberate, consistent action toward our goals. When we move from thought to action, we shift from being spectators in our lives to active participants, creators, and change makers. Empowerment through action begins with the understanding that intention alone is not enough. Many people have dreams and aspirations, yet only a few achieve them. The difference lies in the willingness to take action, even when it's difficult or intimidating. Every step we take, no matter how small, brings us closer to our goals. When we choose to act, we demonstrate to ourselves that we have the power to shape our own lives. This realization is deeply empowering because it shows us that we are not limited by our current situation, but only by our willingness to move forward. Taking action also builds confidence. Each time we push ourselves to do something outside of our comfort zone, we gain new skills, knowledge, and experience. We prove to ourselves that we are capable of achieving things we once thought were beyond our reach. This process of taking small, achievable steps leads to a sense of accomplishment and self-assurance that fuels our motivation to keep going. Confidence, in turn, reinforces our empowerment, creating a positive feedback loop where action leads to confidence, which encourages more action. Empowerment through action also helps us overcome fear and doubt. Often we feel paralyzed by the fear of failure or the belief that we aren't ready to pursue our goals. But the reality is that no one feels fully ready before they start. True growth happens when we face our fears head-on, taking action even when we feel uncertain. By doing so, we learn that fear is not an insurmountable obstacle, but a natural part of the journey. Each time we act despite our fear, we weaken its hold on us and strengthen our courage. Over time, we become more resilient, able to face challenges without being held back by doubt. Furthermore, empowerment through action allows us to build momentum. When we consistently take steps toward our goals, we create a sense of forward motion that propels us even further. Each action, no matter how small, contributes to our progress, giving us a tangible sense of achievement and motivating us to keep moving forward. Momentum is incredibly powerful because it helps us maintain focus and determination, even when the journey becomes difficult. By building momentum through action, we ensure that we're always moving closer to our vision, no matter the obstacles. Taking action also helps us develop a growth mindset. Instead of viewing challenges as setbacks or failures, we start to see them as opportunities for learning and improvement. Each action we take, especially in the face of difficulty, provides valuable lessons that help us grow. We learn what works and what doesn't, what needs adjusting, and how we can become more effective in our efforts. This mindset shift from viewing obstacles as failures to viewing them as lessons is crucial for empowerment because it keeps us resilient, adaptable, and willing to keep trying even when the path forward isn't clear. Empowerment through action also teaches us responsibility. When we take action, we accept that our success is in our own hands. This sense of ownership fosters accountability, encouraging us to follow through on our commitments and to persevere. We stop waiting for circumstances to change or for others to step in. Instead, we recognize that we are responsible for creating the outcomes we desire. This accountability strengthens our character, builds integrity, and increases our sense of self-worth as we know we're doing our best to fulfill our potential. Additionally, taking action brings clarity. Often we don't have all the answers when we start something new. We may have a general idea of our goals, but not a detailed plan of how to achieve them. However, by taking action, we gain insight and experience that reveal the next steps. With each action, our path becomes clearer, allowing us to make informed choices and refine our direction as we go. This clarity is empowering because it shows us that we don't need to have everything figured out from the start. We can learn and adjust as we progress, trusting that each step forward will bring us closer to our goals. Empowerment through action also fosters a strong sense of resilience. When we take action consistently, we develop the discipline and persistence needed to overcome challenges. We learn to push through obstacles, setbacks, and failures without losing sight of our vision. This resilience strengthens us, allowing us to remain focused and determined even in the face of adversity. By taking action, we build a mental and emotional resilience that prepares us for whatever challenges may come, reinforcing our belief in our ability to handle whatever life throws our way. Lastly, empowerment through action leads to a life of fulfillment. When we take purposeful steps toward our goals, we live with intention. We create a life that aligns with our values, dreams, and passions, rather than settling for a life dictated by circumstances or others' expectations. This sense of purpose brings joy, satisfaction, and meaning to our lives as we know we're actively creating the future we want. Life is filled with obstacles, from personal setbacks and external pressures to unexpected events and difficult circumstances. But what many people fail to realize is that these obstacles are not just things to endure or avoid, they are opportunities for growth. When we confront and work through the challenges we face, we build resilience, which is the ability to bounce back from adversity, learn from difficulties, and emerge stronger than before. At its core, overcoming obstacles builds resilience because it teaches us how to persevere. Every time we face a challenge and push through it, we strengthen our ability to continue moving forward, even when the going gets tough. Resilience isn't about avoiding difficulties, but about learning how to endure and keep going in the face of them. The more obstacles we encounter and overcome, the more capable we become of handling whatever life throws at us. This process builds a mental and emotional toughness that allows us to keep our focus, manage our emotions, and remain committed to our goals, no matter how many setbacks we face. One of the reasons overcoming obstacles builds resilience is because it forces us to develop problem-solving skills. When we encounter an obstacle, we are required to think creatively and find ways to navigate through it. This ability to think critically, adapt, and find solutions is a key component of resilience. By facing difficulties head-on, we build our capacity for strategic thinking, innovation, and resourcefulness. Every obstacle we face is an opportunity to sharpen our problem-solving abilities and become better equipped for future challenges. This skill set becomes invaluable as it allows us to approach new obstacles with confidence and clarity, knowing that we've already faced challenges before and successfully found ways to overcome them. Overcoming obstacles builds resilience, also strengthens our sense of self-belief. When we successfully work through difficult situations, we prove to ourselves that we are capable of handling adversity. This reinforces our confidence in our own abilities. Each obstacle we overcome is like a small victory, a reminder that we have the strength to face whatever comes our way. This confidence doesn't come from the absence of challenges, but from knowing that we can rise to the occasion, regardless of how hard the situation may seem. As we continue to conquer obstacles, our self-belief grows, and we become more willing to take on new challenges, knowing that we have the resilience to handle them. Furthermore, overcoming obstacles helps us develop emotional resilience. Life is not just about external challenges, it's about how we respond to them emotionally. When we face difficulties, we experience a range of emotions: frustration, disappointment, fear, and sometimes even anger. Resilience is not about suppressing these emotions, but about learning how to manage them effectively. When we face obstacles, we develop the ability to process these emotions in a healthy way. Over time, we learn to handle stress, disappointment, and anxiety with more grace and composure. This emotional resilience is key to maintaining our mental health and staying focused on our goals, even when we're feeling overwhelmed or discouraged. Overcoming obstacles builds resilience, also enhances our ability to adapt. Life is constantly changing, and we often face unexpected events that challenge our plans. Resilience comes from the ability to adapt to these changes without giving up or losing direction. When we confront and overcome obstacles, we learn how to adjust our strategies, plans, and expectations. We learn to be flexible, to pivot when necessary, and to accept that things won't always go according to plan. This adaptability makes us more resourceful and prepared for whatever comes next. Resilience is not about rigidly sticking to one path, but about being willing to adapt and find new ways to achieve our goals, even when the landscape changes. Moreover, overcoming obstacles often teaches us patience. We live in a world where instant gratification is a common expectation, but life's challenges often require us to slow down, stay patient, and trust the process. When we face obstacles, we're forced to acknowledge that some things take time, effort, and persistence. This patience is a form of resilience, as it helps us stay focused on the long-term picture rather than getting discouraged by short-term struggles. Overcoming obstacles teaches us that the road to success is rarely quick or smooth, but it's the willingness to endure, persist, and keep moving forward that ultimately leads to achievement. Overcoming obstacles builds resilience, also encourages us to embrace failure as a learning opportunity.
In our society, failure is often seen as something to be avoided at all costs. However, facing and overcoming obstacles teaches us that failure is an inevitable part of growth. It's through failure that we learn the most about ourselves, our limits, and the areas where we need to improve. Resilient people understand that failure is not the end, but a stepping stone toward success. By embracing failure, we can move past the fear of it and approach challenges with an open mind, knowing that even if things don't go perfectly, we'll learn valuable lessons along the way. Additionally, facing obstacles can help us build a greater sense of purpose. When we encounter and work through challenges, we often discover what truly matters to us. Difficulties often force us to reevaluate our priorities, make tough decisions, and determine what is worth fighting for. This process of reflection can lead to a deeper sense of purpose, as we recognize that our struggles are not in vain, but are part of a greater journey towards something meaningful. By facing and overcoming obstacles, we create a clearer vision of who we are, what we want, and the impact we want to make in the world. Lastly, overcoming obstacles builds resilience because it helps us connect with others. When we face difficulties, we often look to others for support, advice, and encouragement. Sharing our struggles and working through challenges with others creates bonds of empathy, understanding, and mutual respect. Resilience is not only about individual strength, but also about the ability to reach out for help and support when needed. By overcoming obstacles together, we build a sense of community and solidarity that strengthens our collective resilience. In a world where we often feel isolated, knowing that we have a support system can make all the difference when facing adversity. In conclusion, overcoming obstacles is not just about enduring difficulty, but about using it as a tool for growth. It builds resilience by teaching us to adapt, learn, persevere, and stay focused on our long-term goals. The more challenges we face and conquer, the more we cultivate the inner strength and resilience that allow us to rise above whatever life throws our way. Each obstacle is an opportunity to become stronger, more capable, and more prepared for the future, making resilience one of the most valuable qualities we can develop in our journey through life.